Hello and welcome to yet another episode of Red Plays Pokemon Sun. Now, the last episode, we had just landed in Malia City, went to the garden, spoke to the professor, and were told to head up Mount Hokulani for our next challenge, our next trial, so to say. And we have to take a bus to get there. And the bus stop is somewhere in Route 10. And I guess let's make our way there without any further delay. So in my off-screen time, I had looked around in Route 11. That's the route you see on the map if you take a left right now or head south right now, yes. So it would be my first time looking at Route 10. Looks like a rather long one from the map. Let's see. Looks like a triangle. Okay, favor. Route 10 here is long and wide. But okay, so this lady here has lost a bunch of Stuffle, 8 of them in fact, and she's asked us to look for them. I guess I'll do that. Usually the rewards are quite decent. And of course we have to get jumped by a Pokemon hiding in a tree, a Fiero. Alright, let's capture this. Okay, so as I'm recording this, it's it's been a week, exactly a week since Donald Trump was inaugurated as president, and in that time, he's been talking about the size of the crowd that attended the inauguration party, the ceremonies, the celebration, making all sorts of representations about size, none of them on the small side, and done quite a lot of things which are quite, I would say, upsetting to me because they are protectionist. Well, without going too much into the economics of like trade and, you know, tariffs, mercantilism, protectionism, I'll just say that one of the biggest, if not the biggest recession and longest recession that the world has gone through so far, known as the Great Depression, which preceded the start of World War II, was actually the result of, I wouldn't say it results solely of protectionism, but it was made much worse, and the depression was made much longer, much worse, because of the protectionist measures and beggar thy neighbor policies adopted by all the economies back then. And it took a war to shake everybody out of that mindset. The war which is known as mankind's most destructive so far, both in terms of property damage and loss of life. So I'm not saying that we'll precipitate anything like that with Trump's policies in the near future, at least I hope not, and I would say it's very unlikely. But looking at, you know, the populist turn in many countries in the world, I would say it's a dangerous start, it's a dangerous path to be starting on. When good sense is overtaken by populist urges for people to, for politicians to appeal and for voters to vote for the lowest common denominators in policy. You know, protectionism, isolationism. A depression like that in the 1920s is actually not that unthinkable. So, well, it's the new year. We're playing Pokemon Sun. The world still looks alright. It's only been a week since Trump has been president. I guess if I'm trying to say anything is, let's get lost in the world of Alola. And, you know, at least for this 25 minutes or so. Leave all those depressing thoughts behind for a time. So of course, it's entirely my fault that we talked about this in the first place, but I thought something that I had to talk about. Anyway, we've found 2 of the Stuffles already. Caught the Fiero, took us quite a long time, but yes, making good progress on Route 10. Got some berries that we have hitherto not gotten before, so excellent stuff. Kelp Sea Berry and all that. Aha, so the 3rd Stuffle. Okay, so this video can actually double up as a guide, if a guide were necessary, for you to find Stuffles on Route 10 and get the sweet reward, which I do not know what it actually is. Okay, exciting times, getting jumped by yet another Pokemon. Yet another Fiero. Good thing we don't have to waste time trying to capture it this time. Oh, Fiero is a Generation 1 Pokemon. I remember being very impressed by it when I encountered one in the wild back in Pokemon Yellow. Oh well. What it is to be young. Impressed by every little thing. Well, as I pointed out quite a few episodes ago, I think in my series we're less than halfway, or maybe just about halfway through, considering number of Z crystals that we've gotten and the total number of types that are available in that are present in Pokemon games, which is 16 types. We have yet to get like 8 crystals, so I would say, judging using the crystals as a barometer for game progress, I would say less than half. You know, because usually, like even after you finish the league, there are some like post-game tidbits for you to savor, sample. Like in Pokemon X and Y, there was the Luca files. There was a series of like 6 missions or something called Luca Files. You help a detective solve some crime. I don't really remember it. And then of course there's always the end game Pokemon that you can capture, or rather Pokemon that you can only capture after you finish the league. And there was a whole lot of that in Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. It's like an entire wealth of legendary Pokemon that you could capture from all the previous series, and from that series of course. So I would suppose something of the sort would be happening here in Pokemon Sun and Moon. After you finish the league, I expect there will be lots of post-game Pokemon to capture, maybe a post-game chapter or 2 for you to pursue. I mean, of course, all this is probably common knowledge by now, but I've not read ahead in this game series. I promised myself not to read ahead to spoil things for myself, so I'm playing it as slowly as I'm putting out these videos and finding things out for the first time. Maybe it's old news for you now, but you get to see perhaps the wonder experienced by a trainer going through it firsthand as an onlooker, as opposed to your first experience when you were actually going through it yourself, and then you get to see perhaps I bring a new perspective to things, hopefully. And if you happen to be one of those who have not bought the game or not played the game and just looking at my series to experience the game vicariously, then yeah, I hope you share my sense of wonder and amazement as I go through yet another jump. Okay, well, that's fine. I was just going to return to the lady at the start of the route because we have found all 8 of her pink stuffles, and we're going to collect payment for our services rendered. Hopefully it's something besides money. Money I have a lot of. Maybe some TM, some useful technique that we can teach our Pokemon. Yes, yes. Yes, you do owe me. A never melt ice. Okay, so it's an item that boosts ice boosts, of which I have none right now. And 15,000 Poké Dollars. Well, that's quite generous, I'll take it. Thank you very much. And a never melt ice, for which I do not have a use right now, but that's fine. Good to collect such items as you go along. Oh, okay, so this time we're jumped by something different. A Skarmory. One of the very popular Pokemons to have in a 6 Pokemon setup. As you know, the Pokemon battling meta is split up into 2 different main formats. One which allows you to use all 6 Pokemon, and the other which only has 3. So in the 6 member team format, Skarmory is a very popular member, very popular constituent of teams because of its typing, because of its ability, Sturdy. Normally it does have Sturdy, which means it can't be killed in one hit, and so it's guaranteed to at least get off spikes, which is very much part of the meta in 6-man battles, where people set up spikes. Toxic spikes, rock spikes, steel spikes, whatever spikes they can think of, so that they get some free damage in every time a new Pokemon switches in. It punishes the switch-ins. So definitely a Pokemon to look out for if you are planning to have a team that's viable for 6-man battles. Of course, that is the meta of the previous 2 generations. I might be a little outdated, as it were, in my reading, but I don't think it would have changed that much in this generation. So excuse me, it's going to take some time to capture a Steel type using Hold Back because it's not very well, effective. But we're almost there. Almost reduced Skarmory to just 1 HP. Okay, and we're done with the HP reduction, finally. And and another one there. Oh, which just makes me realize I've been an idiot all this while, because they're likely to have the sturdy ability, so I could have just used a super effective move and count on the Skarmory being left with 1 HP, which is what I'm going to do now. Would have saved us so much time. Oh well, guess I haven't woken up completely yet. Okay, let's try it. Yeah, see, it worked. I could have done that from the start. Oh well. Okay, so let's get rid of one and capture the other one and be on our merry way. Okay, I'm using the Flamethrower on the level 26 one because it's possible for Skarmory to not have Sturdy as his ability, and since I did not prove that the first Skarmory had the ability by using a move that would have killed it in one hit. It's not a guarantee that it has like Sturdy, so I think I'll go with capturing this one instead, since Sturdy is the ability that I would like to have if I'm going to use Skarmory, which is unlikely, but still. It's good to have that in the back pocket. And we're done. Excellent. Incidentally, Skarmory was the lead Pokemon for the champion Steven back in Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, and it does exactly the same thing that I described earlier, which is to drop spikes, annoy you with its sturdy ability. So what happens normally when you fight Steven in the opening match, or rather in the opening round of that match, is you use a super effective move on Skarmory. It gets reduced to like 1 HP. Meanwhile, it uses spikes on your team, and in the next turn, before you can finish the Skarmory off, Steven will use like a full restore, which forces you to trigger Skarmory's Steady again before you finally finish it off. Sometimes he even uses like 2 full restores in a row. But yeah, that's how it went back in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. Okay, so we've been again challenged by Team Skull. Let's make short work of them. I'm really interested to see like who the leader of Team Skull is and what his philosophy is, because as I pointed out a few episodes ago, it does not seem like Team Skull has any coherent or any noble goal that they're working towards compared to the other teams in the other Pokemon games, you know, like Team Plasma, like Lysander back in X and Y. So perhaps meeting the leader of Team Skull will give us a clue or two as to the philosophy, you know, the motivations behind Team Skull's thieving activities. I mean, they might be stealing all those Pokemon for a reason. I don't want to prejudge them. Not to say that stealing with a reason makes it right, but makes it less egregious, makes it less gratuitous, I think. But of course, in the famous words of Alfred in The Dark Knight, you know, some people just want to watch the world burn. Maybe Team Skull's one of them, you know. Yo, think about the bus drivers. If we take this bus stop, you can all chill. Okay, I'm not sure it works like that, my dear Grant A. Back to living large at the mansion. So Team Skull have a mansion. That's interesting. I hope to visit their mansion at some point and like whoop the living lights out of them. That would be fun. What's going on? Some Team Skull punks just ran past me going in the other direction, yeah? And just whoop their asses. I sure wish they would challenge the League instead of getting up to no good all the time. The League? It's the first time I'm hearing anything about the League. Oh, you'll find out soon enough. Just you wait, cousin. But first things first. If you want to head up Mount Hokulani, we should take the bus. It'll blast us up there to the top, yeah? As quick as a sky uppercut. Okay, do me a favor and go check out the bus stop. See when the next one is coming. Okay, so let me just look around at the top area to see if there's anything to pick up. Okay, it's barred. Alright, let's take the bus. Let's take the bus after we sniff out the place. Let's go to an observatory. Our safe driving record will absolutely slay you. I'm not sure that makes any sense. A safe driving record that slays. I mean, it's a safe driving record, so why slay? Kind of odd, but I guess it was a mistranslation over from the Japanese version. Sometimes that happens. A lot of things get lost in translation, like cultural references and all that. Mount Hokulani is the second tallest mountain in Alola, and the tallest... Check it out, Achilles. You see that steep, jutting, majestic peak right over there? I do. Looks like there's something on the top of the peak, even like a mountain, like a building, stadium of some sort. I don't know, something's in construction. It's a sacred sport, yeah? The closest you can ever get to the legendary Pokemon of Alola. Said to be the sun incarnate. Oh, Solgaleo, I think. That's it, right there on the peak of Lanakila. That's where I'll establish our Pokemon League. No wonder we haven't heard of any league, it's because it's not been established yet. We'll get everybody who's finished their island challenges, yeah? And up there on the peak of Mount Lanakila, they'll battle against the Kahunas to become the Island Challenge Champion. I've always valued our old traditions here in Alola, but it's time to make a champion the whole world will recognize. It's time to get our own Elite Four and make our own Pokemon League. To think that someday, the kiddos in Alola will be able to go from being the Island Challenge Champion to the World Champion. And then when we have our own champion, they can show the rest of the world what's so special about Alolan Pokemon and their trainers, yeah? Which is a bit odd because you have an Alolan League here, but then you're trying to say that the winner of that league is the world champion? It's kind of odd. I mean, how is Alola the world? I mean, it's kind of a conceited thing to say, isn't it? But oh well. It's kind of like the World Series. It's not exactly the world, it's just America, but well, they call it the World Series anyway. In any case, I think it's a good time to call it an episode. And as always, thank you for watching. Please subscribe and like this video if you liked what you saw. New videos out every 2 to 3 days. And as always, I'll see you in the next episode of Red Plays Pokemon Sun.